Hello and welcome to the channel. This is Shiba Analyst by Rocket Crypto and my name is Steve. In today's video, I'm going to do something different. I like to answer community's questions that I've noticed. So I'm going to use this opportunity to just answer your questions, and hopefully this video will help you out in clarifying certain things, certain details. And I'll be implementing this. Let me know how you like this style. I think I'll be doing it at least once a week. I'll be combing through the comments and then answering the questions, random questions that I hear popping up more often. I want to also point out that we are approaching 30,000 members. Okay, we are almost 30,000 members strong, and this is such a lovely, loving, and energetic community. And the thing I like about this community the most is this is a FUD-free zone community, and I like that. Okay, I like the energy, and in anticipation of the Shibaswap, I want to answer a few questions that I see that are lingering in the community, and I just want to bring some clarity here in this video. And as we're going along, I'll be answering a few questions. Before we get to that, of course, I want to thank you for all your support. I want to thank you all members for joining the community and for pushing Shiba Inu out there and representing the Shib army. I thank you all. I'm so grateful for you all. And also, I just want to thank the Diamond Hands members. I want to thank you all very, very much, because it's because of you that I can come closer and closer to be able to do something that I'm so passionate about full time. And I want to recognize all of you. And these are all of you. And I see you very often. And I'm loving it, having a dialogue with you. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me. It's one of your many perks that you actually have. And I just want to tell you that I appreciate you all. You're just an amazing group. And I'm just very grateful for you all. I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you for your support. Now, let's get to today's topic. One of the first questions that I've been seeing here is that from Coolbot Kid is, and it's a good question, okay? He's asking, can you do a video on or reply to this comment on your thoughts of the Shibaswap site opening in a down market? Well, let me answer it with this. A few weeks ago, and it was barely talked about, Dogecoin was listed in Coinbase, and it was during a market that was really bleeding. Okay, it was doing horrible, and we didn't see any momentum. That's just an example I made to actually get my point across, which is, yes, it plays a major role. In a down market, even good news can suffer or go under. So in my opinion, I believe it's advisable to kick it off in a market that is uptrending, because keep in mind, still Bitcoin with its dominance, we saw Bitcoin dominance, and it still lays down the rules. So that's why it's really important that we go up in a day that Bitcoin is in a good mood. Now, another thing I want to stress on, like in anticipation of Shibaswap, I want to talk about the three main tokens in the tokenomics, okay, which is Shib, Leash, and Bone. So I want to bring a little bit more clarity. Now, Shib, as we know, has the most amount of token, and then Leash is only 107,000. And then Bone, the difference between Bone and the first two tokens, which is Shib and Leash, is that you can't buy Bone, obviously. You can't buy it. You have to either stake or farm. So you either have to stake it or provide liquidity in order to get Bone. I'm discussing Shibaswap, okay? For example, let's say you take Shib. And now, if you would stake Shib, you can do two things with it. You can either stake it, okay, as a single token, or you could provide liquidity with it and you pair it with any other token. Now, if you decide to stake it, there'll be a transaction fee that you'll have to pay, but it's very, very minimal compared to if you would be using the swap and swapping with different coins. And then, of course, if you unstake, you'll also have to pay that transaction cost. Now, let's start with staking. So let's say you stake Shib. If you stake Shib, you'll get two things. Besides the getting Bone, for staking Shib, you also get Ethereum. That's something that is worth noting. Now, another thing you can do is provide liquidity. Now, if you provide liquidity with Shib, like I said, you'll have to pair it with something else. Like let's say you pair your Shib token with Ethereum. So you need an equal amount of Ethereum, it has to be 1-to-1. Okay, so you'll have to match it. For example, you have $1,000 worth of Ethereum and then $1,000 worth of Shib, and that's how you provide liquidity. And then once you provide liquidity, you will receive a so-called Shibaswap liquidity pool token. It's a token that you can use to stake again, and you'll be able to use that to stake it. And then once you stake it, you generate bones. So that said, let's move to, so those are the things you can do with Shib. You can stake it, you can provide liquidity, and also what happens with Shib is, on top of all the things I've mentioned, you also receive 0.03% of all Ethereum transactions on top of that. It's so lucrative. It's very lucrative. And one thing that I also hear in the community that is asked is that, well, what is more lucrative? Should we farm or should we stake? Okay, let me clarify that also. Now, staking, the difference has to do with risk. Okay, so staking has obviously the least risk. You just stake one token and then that's it. But the difference is with farming is you have to pair it, and then there's a risk of impermanent loss. Let's say you pair your Ethereum 1-to-1 to leash. Now you notice that leash just takes off in value, and now everybody before you sees that, hey, leash is taking off. Okay, now people that had provided liquidity in two different pools, because you have an Ethereum pool and a leash. So people will be pulling out their leash from the leash pool because they're seeing that, hey, leash is gaining on value. So let me take it out so I can benefit from it. And those that are left behind holding the bag, Ethereum bag, will be at a loss because they'll get less leash back for their Ethereum because there won't be enough leash left back in the pool, if that makes sense. Okay, that's basically impermanent loss. Now, if we get to leash, now what makes leash so special is that it only has a supply of 107,000. That makes it very, very scarce. And as once Shibaswap comes out and we get Catalyst and we start getting the Shib price starts really rising, it will also rise. All other tokens obviously will rise as well. And because leash is so scarce, it will rise the most. It will really rise up really, really fast, and it will gain so much momentum and so much value. And if we even go and let's check out the all-time high, I always like to see that. I'm always curious to see. Okay, you see, total supply is 107,647, and we see that all-time low was at 293. That was 2 months ago in April. Now in May, a month ago, it hit almost 9,000. So depending on what your source is, you see different numbers. But for CoinMarketCap right now, it's $8,983. It used to be. That's the all-time high. Let's continue. Now, Bone. Bone is very, very interesting. Bone, first of all, Bone is a governance token, meaning that you have voting rights. In addition to that, the only way you can get Bone is by using leash or Shib to farm or to stake, or by merging your liquidity pools from Uniswap or SushiSwap that you can generate a Bone. So those are the three ways. Okay, with leash and with Shib, you can either provide liquidity or you can stake them in order to get bones. Or the third thing you can do to get bone is you can merge your liquidity from your liquidity pool from Uniswap and SushiSwap. You can transfer them over, bringing them over to Shibaswap. And while you provide liquidity, you'll be able to generate the SSLP, which stands Shibaswap Liquidity Pool Token, and you'll be able to stake that one and earn bones as a reward. That is Bone for you. Another thing I hear people ask in the community is regarding the liquidity pool. Let me answer two things. Okay, first of all, in the liquidity pool, there'll be 15 pre-made pools. But besides those 15 pre-made pools, you'll be able to create your own pair that you want to provide liquidity for. That's up to you. Yeah, to answer this question regarding liquidity pool is that the transaction fees. Like I say, transaction fees you only pay when you're staking, and then when you're unstaking, and they're very minimal. Providing liquidity, you don't pay no fees. You have to supply liquidity to those two pairs, that whatever two pairs you pick. Now, another question, this is the last question that I'm going to answer, is regarding blocks. Let's go here, liquidity event. The question I hear often also is regarding the liquidity event. Okay, for example, when they say we received 1,000 bones per block. So to answer that is, for one block, it takes 13.2 seconds for one block. Basically, what this would mean is, using these numbers, will be every 13.2 seconds we'll receive 1,000 bones, and that will happen only for 2 weeks. Now, what happens after these 2 weeks? After the 2 weeks, it will go back down to 100, and then from there, as time goes on, it will decrease. It will be less and less. What does that mean? It's a reward for first movers. If you can manage to bring your liquidity here, get yourself together, prepare your MetaMask, transfer everything over, and get your stuff ready to connect to Shibaswap, you'll be the first mover. You'll be able to benefit the most in these first 2 weeks, because after these first 2 weeks, it drops down to 100, and then it decreases from there. So the most opportunity you have to get the most bones, that it will be distributed among the holders, of course, is during these 2 weeks. So if you miss out on these 2 weeks, you'll miss out the opportunity to get the most bone that you can get, because it will be very difficult later on to get them, because for one, the number of bones per block that we'll receive will decrease, but the holders number eventually with time will increase, so which will give you less and less of chance to get to the bones. So this liquidity event is very, very important. And I stress that if you really want to get some bones, make sure that you're preparing yourself right now and you're ready. So once Shibaswap comes out, you're ready to just connect it, start providing liquidity or staking, whichever you choose. And again, I said, providing liquidity is more rewarding. However, it has the most risk as well, because you have the risk of impermanent loss. Those are the questions I wanted to answer from your comment sections. And if you like this type of setting, let me know in the comment section below so I can integrate it more often. Maybe I'll be able to do it at least once, if not 2 times a week. Let me know what you think about this. It was good to just chat with you. It's a different setting. It's a different way of making a video. So thank you very much. I hope this info was of help to you. I'm reading all your comments, so feel free to just comment down below. I'll be reading through them, and then I'll be making once or twice a week. I'll be making a video like this, and I'll go through your questions and I'll just answer them. All right. Thank you very much. Wishing you a wonderful day. Stay tight. See you in the next video.